Hello, we're going to read the last two chapters of The Twits today, and this chapter is called The Twits Get the Shrinks. And down here in the horrid house, Mr. and Mrs. Twit are still stuck upside down in the floor in the living room. "It's all your fault," yelled Mr. Twit, thrashing his legs in the air. "You're the one, you ugly old cow, who went hopping around shouting, 'We're upside down, we're upside down.' And you're the one who said, 'Stand on your head so we'll be the right way up, you whisky old warthog,'" screamed Mrs. Twit. "Now we'll never get free. We're stuck here forever." "You might be stuck here forever," said Mr. Twit, "but not me. I'm going to get away." Mr. Twit wiggled and squirmed, and he squiggled and he wormed, and he twisted and he turned, and he chuckled and he churned, and the sticky glue held him to the floor just as tightly as once it had held those poor birds in the big dead tree. He was still upside down as ever, standing on his head. But heads are not made to be stood upon. If you stand on your head for a very, very long time, a horrid thing happens. And this is where Mr. Twit got the biggest shock of all. So, with so much weight on it from above, the head gets squashed by the body. And quite soon it had completely sunk out of sight in the fatty folds of his flabby neck. "I'm shrinking," burbled Mr. Twit. "So am I," cried Mrs. Twit. "Help me! Save me! Call a doctor!" cried Mr. Twit. "I'm getting the dreaded shrinks." And so he was. Mrs. Twit was getting the dreaded shrinks too. And this time it wasn't fake. It was the real thing. Their heads shrunk into their necks, their necks began shrinking into their bodies, and their bodies began shrinking into their legs, and their legs began shrinking into their feet. And 1 week later, on a nice sunny afternoon, a man called Fred came round to meet the gas eater. When nobody answered the door, Fred peeped into the house, and there he saw, on the floor of the living room, 2 bundles of clothes, 2 pairs of shoes, and a walking stick. There was nothing more left in the world of Mr. and Mrs. Twit. And everyone, including Fred, shouted, "Hooray!" And that is the end of The Twits. It's been lovely reading it with you. I hope you'll read it again one day. Take care. Bye now.